I'm inside a private mastermind at Tom Bilyeu's house. And if you don't know Tom Bilyeu sold a company for $1 billion, and now he helps founders scale from 7 figures to 8 figures. So in the last 2 years, I've generated over $1.5 million online. And in this video, I'll share the 3 lessons I learned from Tom today that will 10x my business in the next 2 years. Let's dive in. Starting with lesson number 1, which is to take action. And this is the most basic advice that you can ever get, but this is the exact advice I needed, right? So I'll give you a bit of context. My whole goal to fly out from Europe to LA was to get clarity on which opportunity vehicle, which niche I should focus on to 10x my business. Because right now I'm making $66K per month, but I'm selling $79 products, and I'm not going to get rich through selling such cheap products. I need to sell expensive products to rich people, right? So I was clear on that, but I wasn't clear on what I can sell, right? Since I've made $1.5 million online, I've built skills on content systems, building teams, delegation. I've got skills on systemizing, operations, copywriting. I've got all of these skills, but I just didn't know which is the best opportunity vehicle, which gives me the most leverage, right? Where I have the highest chance of hitting $5-6 million in annual revenue, right? So when I asked Tom this question, his first question was, okay, what have you done? Like, what action have you taken, right? Like, his whole mindset is that he would default to action to get results, right? And he said that, look, you're not going to know which is the best niche until you test each of them and you compare the metrics, the results you get on each niche, right? The videos you create for each niche. And when he said that, I was like, got it. Makes complete sense. I only put out 10 or so YouTube videos, and he's like, you need to take way more aggressive action, both YouTube and on Instagram, right? Both shorts and longs. And once I heard that, I was like, okay, cool. In the new year, I'm going to be taking aggressive action to then find the right niche, right? And then what he said was, look, if I was 28 and single, which I am, I would get my team and live in a villa, remove all friction to make taking action easier. And that means that cooking, cleaning, all of that outsourced to a chef and a maid and whatever. And I think it was just so clear that, look, I just need to take more action. And all of the friction I have, like, for example, right now I'm in Hollywood and I've been driving around here, having fun, meeting people, and just I have all of this friction to take action because I have a car, I have to find parking, I have to go to a coffee shop, get a coffee before I work. But if I remove all of that and I just lock in and I have my office in the same house I sleep in, I eat there, I work out there, there's pretty much no friction. I won't even keep a car. That advice was like super duper helpful because I just thought that I just wake up one day and magically figure out, okay, this is the exact niche I need to double down on to then charge these 10, 20K high ticket prices. But it's just not like that, right? So that's advice number 1. The second lesson I learned from Tom was to put everything on my business on a spreadsheet. So for some context, we were just having a back and forth on, okay, how many videos I created and like what I did to test the niche that I'm currently testing, right? And he said that, okay, cool. Have you mapped out exactly how many sales, how many videos, how many calls booked you need to then hit that number of 5 million annual revenue? I was like, no. He's like, that's exactly why you're not going to hit it. I was like, what do you mean? And then he's like, look, everything in your business needs to be on a spreadsheet. Anything that can be math needs to be turned into math, and anything that can't be math needs to forcibly be turned into math. And that really just opened my eyes because I realized that business at the over 7 figures, over $1 million a year is all about numbers. And it's quite interesting and ironic because I did study finance at university and I was really obsessed with numbers. But ever since I've gotten into this online business, I've been heavily focused on marketing, on team and delegation and all that stuff, right? And I forgot the fundamentals, which is I need to crunch the numbers, know my numbers, and be very clear on them and communicate them very clearly to my team, right? So that was like super clear to me. I was like, cool, if I'm going to test all of these niches out, I need to map out exactly how many videos I need, how many sales calls I need, at what average ticket price to then hit my revenue goals, right? And it was honestly so crazy to know that I was looking to scale my business from roughly around $1 million a year, 800K or so a year, to $5 million in annual revenue just through gut and instinct and not without a spreadsheet. And it was just eye-opening. He was like, yeah, you need to put everything in numbers. And he literally said that for every cell in a spreadsheet, you need to think of, okay, what action needs to be taken to increase or decrease the number favorably, right? And then when you then get into scale mode, you need to have one person in charge of each cell. And their whole job is to obsess over increasing or decreasing that number favorably or unfavorably, right? So it could be, let's say, for example, for sales, right? If you sell high ticket sales, high ticket coaching, and then it could be show up rate, right? And now the sales manager will be obsessed with increasing the show up rate because the more people that show up on the sales calls, the more money you make, right? From the marketing perspective, it could be number of calls booked, right, per video. And my goal, if I'm in charge of YouTube, will be just obsessing over increasing the amount of calls booked per long form video I create. Let's say I create 2 a week. And if I can just increase my call bookings per video by 30%, I can go from, let's say 5 per video to, let's say, whatever, 6 or 7 per video. And I can literally just book more calls and make more money, right? So I think that was quite big as well, just putting everything on a spreadsheet. And yeah, I'm super duper clear that not only do I need to put everything on a spreadsheet to test the different niches because I want to sell at least 10K high ticket products, I also then need to put every metric in my business on a spreadsheet. And then as we scale, make one person in charge of that number so that they can increase or decrease it. And then ultimately we can hit our revenue goal. So that was pretty interesting as well. And I got a lot of clarity on that. The third lesson I learned was to set realistic goals. So as it's the end of the year, it's December 2025 now, I've been planning my revenue goals for 2026. Before the mastermind, I submitted a form where I submitted my 90-day goals and my 12-month goals. And as soon as my talk with Tom started, he just started with saying, okay, I saw your goals, Varun, and they look really unrealistic. I was like, what do you mean? He says, there's such a big discrepancy. For your 90-day goals, you're aiming for 200K in revenue with the new business. And then then for your 12-month goals, you're aiming for 5 million total. And the truth is that, I mean, Hormozi says this, but we all underestimate what we can do in 10 years and we overestimate what we can do in a year, right? The mistake I was making is literally, like right now, I only target international students in the UK, right? So I have my niche dialed in and I have my platforms dialed in. And I thought, and I was crazy, I would launch on a new platform, YouTube, to a new audience, selling something I never sold before, and I hit 5 million in my first year. The truth is that might happen, but the odds of that happening are extremely low. And what Tom actually said is when you set super unrealistic goals, what happens is month on month, you don't hit your goals and the team loses morale. And then you're not even motivated to work hard to push to hit the goal because you know deep down subconsciously the goal is unrealistic. And he just said that it's so important to set realistic goals so that you hit them week by week, month by month, and the team morale is up. And team morale is literally affects momentum, right? If people's morale are up, they're going to get results. It's going to build momentum up. And like basically what I learned from that was that 100% chance of hitting 3 million is better than like a 20% chance of hitting like 10 million, right? Or so. After that chat with Tom, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to revise our yearly target from 5 million to 3 million and then make it more realistic. And in my head, genuinely, like Tom is so right. Like I really think hitting 3 million is possible because I've hit 1.1 million in 2024. And I just know like 3xing in 2 years is super possible, right? And as long as we stick to our weekly, monthly, quarterly, 6-month and 12-month targets, we're gonna hit that number, right? So that's pretty much it. If you're, making 10, 20K a month, 30K a month, scaling will be about doing the basics again. You have to take action violently to test out more expensive offers, a new audience. Then you have to put everything on a spreadsheet. Every number needs to be either owned by you, and then you need to have literally tactical action steps to increase or decrease that number. And then thirdly, you will have to make sure that you set realistic targets. When you set realistic targets, you will feel motivated to work hard and push through those tough times and work those 80, 100-hour weeks, and so will your team as well, right? So that's pretty much it. Hope you found it valuable. I'm now going to continue my hike around the Hollywood sign. There should be a link down below if you want to work with me. Wish you all the best and make loads of money.